Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make or sew this flare turtleneck gown with shoulder pad. This pleated flare turtleneck with shoulder pad, as you can see right here, I'm going to teach you the full circle method. We have actually two methods for it. We have the half circle method and the full circle method. So I'll be teaching you the full circle method in this class. So please stay tuned to the end of this. Alright, so now we want to start off this tutorial, and we'll be making use of Duchess fabric. So this Duchess I'm actually using is not the lighter Duchess. This is actually a thick new kind of Duchess. It's not really that thick, but it's, you know, more, it has more quality than the regular Duchess we know. Okay, so I have 8 yards right here. Okay, this circle dress, you actually need 8 yards for it to form this beautiful dress. So these 8 yards, I've already separated them for 4 yards, because we are going to have the back as half a circle and the front as half a circle. Then we'll match them together. Okay, so looking at what we have on the thumbnail, if you can actually get a fabric that comes with a longer length, Duchess or other satin fabrics comes at 60 inches per length. So if you will be able to get 120 inches per length, then it means you are going to cut the regular normal circle we have. But since the length is not enough and we actually need a full length from shoulder to the full length, then we'll be separating our Duchess fabric for 4 yards, and it does not affect anything as well. So now we'll be working with the front first. We are going to cut the front, and the first thing I'm going to do is the 4 yards I have, I'm going to match them together to make I'm putting them together to form the folded edge, because we are going to make pleats. If you look at that dress, you will see that there are some beautiful pleats. So I'll quickly arrange this 4 yards for the front now into 2 equal parts, 2 yards, so we'll be able to form that pleats. So we are working on the front dress, and I want you to pay attention. If you actually want to have this dress appear the way you are seeing it there right on the thumbnail with those beautiful pleats, this is what you are going to do. So your Duchess satin fabric, like I said, I'm using a quality Duchess satin. Is a little, you know, thicker than the regular Duchess that is so very light. Okay, it's actually a new Duchess in the market. So now this is 4 yards, and I put these 4 yards into 2 equal parts, and this is the midline. That is, I have 2 yards right now when folded. So now I'm going to create a notch on this midline. Then we are going to create the pleats before we go ahead and cut out the neckline. So you can see it right here. This is the center front of it, and this is actually where we are supposed to have a circle, which is going to form our neckline for this dress. So I will just form that pleat. So whichever way you want to form that pleat, you can go ahead and form it. So I'm going to form this pleat this way. Okay, so it's your creativity. So I just take my time. You can see how I picked this, and I'm bringing it towards the center front area. So I actually want to tilt it, because I noticed that the one we had on the thumbnail was somehow creative and tilted. So I just take my time, although this fabric is actually wobbling on this table, but you can see what I'm doing right here. So I'll quickly hold it down with my pins the way I want it, the pleats to go, before ever I go ahead to cut the neckline. Okay, so at least you have an idea of what I'm doing right here. So if you want to split it, you just take it and face it in the same direction. Can you see? So I just create this, you know, secure with my pins right now. Then this remains the center front. Note the notched part remains the center front. So whatever thing neckline we want to create, we'll also create it along with these pleats, okay, this pleated area, and we go ahead with the sewing of the neckline. So let me create the pleats right now. So I just want to show you what I did on the pleats on the neckline. So you can see this pleat just as it is right there on the video and on the thumbnail. I decided to have this, can you see, the pleats run. This is the center line. Note, this is that center front line we notched. Okay, so if you keep your ruler straight, you can see the pleats crossed along the center line. So you have to tilt it this way, okay, you have to tilt it in a slanted way, just like I did right there. So this remains the neckline. Now I have another pleat, okay, so like that, this pleating is just your design or by your choice, so you have to use your discretion to do that. So I made this one facing this way, and I also felt like maybe making a kissing pleat to it. From this center front line, I'll just come a little at the center line this way. So if you don't want this pleat to show too much, just pick like 1 inch of it this way and secure with your pin. Then you can bring in this other one and make like you are making like a kissing pleat. So I can just give a little distance to create it. So it's all your creativity, okay, so you can make your pleats anyhow you wish to make it. So I just feel like having it this way. So at the end of the day, from that center line, I'll be having still my shoulder will fall exactly at 8 inches, and from here my shoulder from here will also fall exactly at 8 inches. So the next thing we are going to do now, I just want to leave the pleats the way it is right here. Okay, so you can go ahead and give it a good press. Okay, you can just go and iron it down, but I'm going to do that at the end of this tutorial. So now we want to start creating the neckline of this dress. All right, so for the front neckline, because of these pleats I made right here, I'm not going to put this on fold. So I'll just come over to the center line and place my tape, and I'll be using 2.5 inches. So you can see me marking 2.5. It's just a turtleneck, you know, neckline. So just go ahead from that center and mark your 2.5 inches this way. You mark it that way, can you see? So when we are cutting off this neckline right now, I'll just quickly follow this. So I'm using 2.5 because by the time we sew 1/2 inch, we'll be having 3 inches, which is the 3 inches neckline depth and width that we usually use for our turtleneck. So you can see the neckline right now. So I'm going to cut out this neckline right away. So I'll cut it together with the pleats I have. So this is the neckline at 2.5. I'm cutting it together with the pleats we have right here. Can you see? All right, so I've cut it out. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place this way. Can you see? I'm going to place it from this neckline now, and I'll just quickly slant it to match into this, just to blend it out. I believe you understand. Okay, so I blended it out right now. So you can see we have our pleats, we also have our neckline. So now I'll just go over to the machine and hold it down. That's if I want, but if I don't want, I'll still leave it the way it is. And once we join the back and front together, the pleats are held. So I'm going to secure my pleats very well now. Okay, then we'll put it together right away so we can cut the circle parts. I've secured it with my pins. Like I said, you can go and run a stitch to hold the pleats. Okay, these pleats, you can go ahead and run a stitch to hold it, but I'll just secure with my pin the way they are. So now I'll simply go ahead, and this is the center front area. I'll just match this neckline together. Okay, the normal way we cut our circle, our half circle. So I've already cut out the neckline. So from this neckline I place together now, we are going to take on this side. This is the folded part, we are not touching it. So we'll just go ahead and do what? Cut out from here. So I'll quickly hold it down together this way. Can you see? So together this way. So we'll start marking out all our necessary lines from that neckline. So now the first line we want to mark, the first line we are going to mark here on this open ended parts. I'm going to mark my I've already, my shoulder, I'm working with I'm using 16 inches divided by 2, which is 8. And here I've cut 2.5 for my neckline. So I'm going to mark that shoulder, which is 8 inches. Then after my 8 inches mark, I'm going to mark where my sleeve is going to pass, still on this open-ended part of the dress. So from there, that 8 inches, I'm going to mark 22 inches. That is where I measured my sleeve. So it can be within 20 to 22 inches. So after you have marked the 22 inches mark, next we are going to do now, from that 22 inches that our sleeve will pass, I'm going to measure 4 inches for the sleeve opening. Find the midpoint of that sleeve opening and go in by ½ an inch from it. Then I'll just curve it. You can use your curve ruler to do that. So at this point right now, I'm going to cut it off. I'll leave it open, and it's going to serve as our sleeve opening. Then from that point, I'll now measure 30 inches down. Okay, it depends on how long you want it to measure. So here I have exactly 30 inches. Okay, so that's why I asked you to use 4 yards. Okay, because I know we are going to exhaust the rest of it. So from this part we have 30 inches. So I'm going to place it where you can see what I'm doing very clearly, and cut out the down circled part to meet the center front. So now you can see the rounded neckline. So just like I measured right there, this is the 2.5 by 2.5 line. And remember that we placed our tape at the 2.5 line this way and marked the shoulder. So this remains the shoulder measurement at 8 inches. So here at 8 inches is the shoulder line. Although I've taken this measurement before, and I told you to also take from that shoulder line, you now take 22 inches. So then this is my 22 inches. Can you see? So I place a mark at 22 inches mark, and I asked you to take 4 inches for your sleeve opening from that point and get the midline at 2 inches. I went in by ½ an inch, and I'll cut out this area. So from that point, you measure to the end of the dress, okay, at 30 inches. So from this 30 inches, you just go curve it this way, okay. There's no exact measurement, just go on curving it this way. So you can see me cutting to meet up with what I have the other way. So you just cut to give it that flare effect, okay. So I'll cut it to meet up what I have on the center front line. So here you take off the flare, okay, so you can see what we have right there on the flare, and that is it. So we are going to cut out the back right now. So this is exactly what your half circle should be looking like. Okay, so the neckline is the radius for the front. So I'm going to cut out the part I marked right now for the arm. Then we'll now go ahead and place this on top of the back and cut. So this is the armhole part. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put them together appropriately and cut out that 4 inches where we are going to pass our arm. Back, I just want to make a little adjustment to this measurement we had on the sleeve opening. So if you remember when we were taking this measurement, I have to mark the shoulder line at 8 inches, and from that 8 inches I have to mark 22 inches. So at this 22 inches, please, instead of going down more by 4 inches, this should be your mid line. Okay, so that's the right thing. At that 22 inches should be your midline, and that is exactly where you are going to come in by half an inch. Okay, then from here you measure 2 inches this way, and from here you measure another 2 inches. So once you measure that 2 inches, you are going to do what? Curve it, okay, this way. So you now curve it to meet up that way. So that 22 should be your midline for your sleeve opening. So now I'm going to cut out what I have. So this fabric is actually wobbling a lot, so but you have to be very careful while working with it. Is a Duchess fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut that sleeve opening from the new adjustment I made. So now, after cutting out this 4 inches sleeve opening, so when we are going to sew, we are going to leave this sleeve opening. That's where we are going to pass this so it can be 4 inches, it can be 5 inches if you are on a larger size. So now I'm going to cut the neckline for the back, then place this on top of the back and repeat the whole process for the back before we begin to sew. So for the back, I bring in the 4 yards again. Okay, so this is the 4 yards remaining of the 8 yards of Duchess that we are using for this project. So this other 4 inches, you are going to also put it together and find the midpoint. Remember, this is 360 full circle we are cutting, but we are cutting front 180, back 180 to give us what we actually looking for. So here, if you are cutting 180, this is how you fold it, exactly what we did. Then for this, we are going to have another style of pleating for the back. So since we are having another style of pleating for the back, this is how we are going to go about it. So once you have gotten the center back, place a notch to it. So this center back is going to have a 5 inches slit from here to here. So now, before we go to the marking or creating of the 5 inches, we are going to create the neckline width. This is the width of our neckline. Note that, and it remains 2.5. Then the depth is 1 inch for the back. Remember, that is how we go about our neckline. So I'll just curve in the back neckline. So after we have curved the back neckline, the next thing we are going to do is to create our pleats. So I'll just go ahead and create the pleat the way we actually want it. So if you want it this way, like the back pleating is actually easy to create, so I'll just do this for it and do this for the back. So just try and be creative about it. So we are going to create these pleats first before we continue our measurement. So the pleating for the back has to be equal. So if you want to face the pleat this way, fine. You want to face it this way, but we are going to have one pleat for front and back. So let me arrange it before we continue. All right, so I've created the pleats. I just have to hold it down on the center back line, and I created the two pleats equally facing the back area. So this is how we are going to place it to cut. So before we cut the same shape that we just cut, I'm going to cut out, or I'm going to measure the opening. So the back opening from that 1-inch neckline, we are going to have it at 4 inches. Okay, so we can go by 4 or 5 inches. So let us do 4 inches. I don't actually want it too much, so I'll just go ahead and cut this neckline. That is the back neckline. Then I'll open up the center back slit. Okay, so I opened all the center back slits, so I'll be able to pass my neckline. So we can still do 5 inches. Okay, let me just do the 5 inches because that is the standard I know for necklines like this. So I just get it up to 5 inches. Okay, so we are going to use our bias strip. So we are done with this back now. So the next thing we want to do is to place it right on the on top of the, place the front one on top of the back and cut the same shape. So now I've placed the back. Okay, the front that we cut, I've placed it on top of the back. So I'll now follow the back now and cut exactly what I have for the front. So that's what I'm going to cut now. Now we have cut both front and back dress. Okay, so I will take front out and want to finish up the back dress now. So I'll go over to the machine right away and spread open what I have for the back. So this is what I have for the back now. So you can see the pleats, I still secure them with my pin. So I'll just go ahead and open up, tape the 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to use my bias to finish up here. So I'll do that quickly. Then I'll stitch the pleats to secure them, take off my pin, then we'll go over to the. So right now I'm finishing up the back neckline with the slit very neatly, putting the front and back together, sewing it neatly up to the sleeve opening right now, as you can see right. Alright, so to cut the turtle neckline, I've already stayed my fabric. Okay, I stayed it with my pepper stay. So this turtle neckline will just simply go ahead and fold this way. So the width of this neckline, I'm going to make use of because it's actually a high neck. Okay, it's actually a high neckline, so I'm going to make use of 2.5 inches because I'll still sew half an inch. Okay, so I'm working with 2.5. So at the end of the day, or let us work with 3 inches, so at the end of the day we'll be left with 2.5. So the length we measured now was 13. So I'm going to add 1 inch for seaming allowance and another 1 inch for 13 inches. Sorry, I'll add 1 inch for seaming allowance and another 1 inch for overlap. Okay, so I'll have everything cut at 15 inches. So I will just go ahead and measure the 3 inches width, unfold. So I just place my tape and measure the 3 inches width this way, unfold. Can you see that? So that is what we are going to use for this neckline. So by the time we sew it, we have it this way. So if you feel the 3 inches is too much, you can also do 2 inches, but I want it high. Okay, I just want it to rest on the jaw, so that's why I'm using the 3 inches. So I'm just going to my machine now. I'll fold this back and I'm going to sew, adding my button loop. Okay, so it depends on how you want to work on this. So I'm going to use this my fabric now. I'll just sew my fabric, just a piece of fabric right here. I'll just put it in this way on my machine. I'll sew, and I'm going to make my button loops. I will insert it this way, facing this way. I can make two, I can make one, it depends. Then I'll now sew half an inch. So let me prepare it now. Right, so this is what it looks like right now. So I'm going to turn it to the right side now. So if you turn to the right side, like I said, I have my loops sewn in it already. So just make sure you bend it this way, push it in this way, so you have that sharp or squared edge. Can you see that? So that is that. So I'm going to sew this neckline right now. I'm going to sew it right into this dress, and we are done with this class. So I'm going to sew first. I'll push it in this way, and I'm going to sew the first one round. Then I'll use this other one to top stitch on it. So I'm going to prepare the shoulder pad. I'm going to cover it with fabric right now, as you can see right. So now I'm going to insert the shoulder pad to the dress right. When you iron it, you have something bending this way. So I put it together and I placed my steam iron this way. So at the end of the day, it has this apex area going up to carry the dress. So I'll now go ahead, like I said, I will attach the shoulder pad. I think I've explained how the shoulder pad is going to be attached. We have two ways you can attach them. One, you can wear it on the body of the person you are making the dress for, or on your own body. So once you have done that, then you can go ahead. This highest part is the part that will be on the shoulder. So if this is your shoulder, the point of your shoulder, if this is from here to here, is the remaining 5 inches from here to here. Okay, then you can just bring the shoulder pad a little inwards, so you have like 1 inch across. Okay, so I'll just secure it with my pin now, just assuming that is the point of the shoulder pad. So on the same line, that is where I'm going to tack. So if you're using the tacking method, tack on the same line from beginning of the shoulder part to the end. Then I'll also repeat the same for this other part. So after I'm done with that, the next thing is to decorate it, as you can see right there. So you can come in with any appliques of your choice. You can place how you want or how you wish. So remember, we have a pleat running this way, so I'll just iron down this pleat to give it a crease line before I place my applique. So I'll just place my applique, like you can see right there on the thumbnail, is coming almost above the collar. So I'll position it the way that it will look fine. So that is how we come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next one.